A couple weeks ago, I brought out my old VP1000 3/4 inch playback only machine because I had a client that's interested in purchasing it. And that particular client brought me their existing VO5850 just to see if anything could be done on it. They say it doesn't accept the tape, it doesn't move. So we're going to take a look and see whether this one can be made workable. If not, I got a good machine to sell them, but let's just take a look at this one and see how bad condition it's in. Got a beast on the bench. This is a VO5850. This is an editing machine, so this will have flying erase heads on it. This is an old Umatic low band editing machine. And this one here apparently does not work. There's no screws in the top cover, so let's just lift the top cover off and give this thing a once over, and then we'll throw a tape in it and see what it does, if anything, and see if we can get this one going. So we can flip the board up out of the way, and we can now see the upper drum. There are contacts up top. That would be for the flying erase heads. As you'll see, there are erase heads, the ones that are white and red. These are the erase heads, and this is the record play head. We know that because the erase head is going to be ahead of the record play head. The erase head is ahead. Erase head is here, record play here. Same over here, erase head, record play. I think that's how they have them set up on this. Anyway, let's fire this up and see what it does. Whether it will load a tape, my test tape that I can play. I'll switch the monitor on. Alright, let's load the cassette first and see whether the cassette will load, which it does. First things first, before attempting to play, I want to see whether it will go into fast forward or rewind. And the tape does not appear to be moving at all in fast forward. How about rewind? Nothing. Okay, we're going to eject the tape. I'm not going to try loading it because I could end up with an eaten tape. I don't want to spool the tape out until I know that the take up and supply spools can be turned. The thing I'm going to do is remove the cassette basket, which I think this one screw just takes that out. Lifts out this bracket, and then it's an interesting way that they put it on the other side under a spring, but now the tape housing should lift out. First things first, we'll remove the housing, unplug it. Set that out of the way. I'm going to turn the machine over. We'll pull the bottom off, and I want to check the drive belt. So let's turn the machine on its side. And remove the bottom. These are flathead screws. They're actually a special screw that had a pin, a locator pin on them. You see? It was actually a special tool that Sony had for these, although you could just use a regular flathead screwdriver. But there was a special tool that aided in driving and removing these screws, because that special tool with that index pin kept the screwdriver from slipping, because, well, we know how wonderful the slot head screw was. It was a cruel invention. couple more screws back here, and this board should flip forward. Oh, the belt's not missing. Okay. It just turns freely. Got our wonderful circuit glue on here. You can see it right here that turned brown. That stuff's always wonderful crap. Drum and caps motors turn okay. The reel drive is not slipping, and it's got good torque on it, so that's not an issue. We'll just throw this board in. I'm going to turn it over and put a tape into the loader and just see if I can observe what happens when I push buttons without the tape, without risking the tape threading up. So I'll have the tape off to the side. But no belts are broken here. There's only 3 belts in this machine. One for the elevator, which is obviously okay because I was able to load and unload a tape. There's a loading belt, and there's the belt for the reel drive, and of course the idler. This is where that locating pin comes in handy. Okay, I think what's happening on this is the mechanism is stuck. Maybe this gear down here is jammed up. It just seems to be that it's a bit stiff. I'm going to throw some lubricant down onto the mechanism here and see whether it will, like when you load the tape, it should do the half load. It should pull the tape out part way, and it's not. And of course nothing's going to happen until it does that. Now we know the belt's not broken, so the first thing I got to think of is that probably it's a lubricant failure. So let's just throw some grease on the threading mechanism, namely on this gear down here and on this gear. I'll turn the cog by hand just to work it in a bit. We'll move the mechanism a bit by hand. This moves freely, so I think it's right in this area here where our fault is, because the loading ring there's nothing holding this up. Let's just turn it on and see what happens. Okay, so that kicked back. I'm going to try just faking a tape into the housing that's sitting beside the machine on the bench. I tried this a minute ago and nothing happened. So let's just try this now. I'll load the tape in. We'll see whether this attempts to go into the half load. This should load into the half load cycle. Ah, good. Okay. And now that's the tape end sensor. Okay, so that part's working. I want to load the cassette housing again, and I'll eject it and see what happens. And then the tape comes out. Okay, I'm going to try power the unit down. I'm going to load the cassette housing again. I took the side off just so I could bring the wires out the side and set this over at the side of the unit. We'll drop this elevator, or front loading mechanism as I call it, but the correct term that Sony calls this on these machines is the elevator. I guess because the tape goes up and down, right? It elevates the tape into position. But, there we go. That's how it goes in. Just drops in like that, and then the retaining bar goes over the top of it. These clips go in under here, and then that goes. I know I didn't take these out from here, but that's what these are for, is to hold that wire in place. This went under there like that. Pretty sure that went under there. This plugged in over here. Okay, I got the front loader back in place. Let's test the machine out and see whether I get a picture. Okay, it's loading. Looks like I got dirty heads. Heads look really dirty on this thing. I wonder, we'll try cleaning them. We'll just take the tape out. Clean the heads with standard alcohol and a piece of paper. See whether the heads will come clean. Otherwise I may have to do the old fingernail trick on there, but these heads here do need to be cleaned. So we just press the paper up against the head drum and rotate clockwise. Now we do 3/4 inch clockwise, beta cam, VHS, 8mm. Well, 8mm we don't use alcohol, but same with beta cam SP, you use a cleaning tape, just because the metal tape won't dissolve. But for regular oxide beta cam, well, look at all that dirt that was on that head. Wow, that's pretty dirty. Wonder if that's going to make any improvement to the picture as I try playing it. Take back in. That should work now, I would think. And it doesn't. It's still bad. It's still snowy. We'll just try the good old fingernail. See if we can clean the head. That's why it's a clogged head. Maybe the head's bad on this machine. Yeah, this is not coming clean. This might have a bad head, this machine. Like that should clear up right away. And there's nothing there. It's like one of the heads isn't working. Tracking. This one looks like it's got a bad head. Either it's just extremely dirty, or that one of the heads is bad. It sure looks like it's a bad head. There's no signal from one of the two heads. Again, it's either completely clogged, although normally when you do the fingernail trick, it will normally clear that off like instantly. But when I do the cleaning with the paper, I don't feel like, normally you can feel the heads protruding and they just feel like there's not much left. I think this is a really high hours machine. on the head drum is probably worn out. I don't know the history of it, but I do know that they've asked about purchasing my VP1000. So if the head is shot on this, I'll be able to sell them my VP1000, which I hauled down from my storage unit and cleaned it up the other couple weeks ago. Yeah, still a lot of dirt on there. I mean, that's what came off of the head. So maybe it is just dirty. But it's still, there's still no picture, as you can see on the monitor. Search. I'll scope the RF test point from the preamp, and we have a bad head. Take a look at the signal. I'll rotate the tracking control. This thing's got a dead head. Not dirty. There's just no signal whatsoever. So either one of the heads has gone open. I just tripped the breaker. God damn. My air conditioner just tripped the breaker. So the only thing that's on that circuit besides the air conditioning is my scope right now and the monitor that I'm watching this on. As my camera decides it's going to go in and out of focus, we'll just focus it manually. But yeah, this one, unfortunately, this has a bad head. I don't think any amount of cleaning is going to fix this one. When I do the fingernail trick, you'll see you'll see it here. Wherever I touch it, you'll see a little line from, right? That's me, just through the back of the tape. But this other head is just dead. It has a dead head. Unfortunately, this one here, I think its days are toast. Oh well. Can't say I didn't try. I was hoping it was just going to be that mechanism that was sticky. But unfortunately, it's a little more serious than that. So I guess I just found my VP1000 a home. Actually, I should go drag my VP2000 out of my storage unit and put that up and see how it plays, because I have two 3/4 players. I think the heads are pretty worn on my VP2000. It's a machine that's got tons and tons of hours, and I would think that this machine probably is a very high hour machine, because looking at that signal coming off that one head that's there, there's not a lot of RF there. Anyway, can't win them all. Let's get a look at the heads. I guess as close a shot as I can get with my camera, but here are the heads here. There's one head there. I think that's the flying erase, it looks like. I think that's a flying erase. And there's the record play head. And then the other one over here, it's a flying erase head. And the record play would be that one. Yeah, I mean, they're not broken, but they're not protruding out. Like normally the heads extend a little bit beyond the drum so that they make contact with the tape. And if you look at the heads, they just look to be that they are worn. Wonder if I can get any different light in there. Hard to see. I can't get any closer with the camera, it'll go out of focus. That's probably about as close as I can get. I can't quite get in focus there. I gotta bring it back just a bit more. And now I can get in focus. So there's one of the heads. I'll just turn the drum around slowly so you can see them all. You see a lot of this corrosion around the head there too, right? There's a fair bit of crap on the lower drum that didn't come off even when I was cleaning. And there's the other head there. That's the flying, I guess a flying erase. Oh, there, I don't know, that doesn't look very good. I guess it's just the wicking on the camera. Again, there's some crud still around there. And then there's this other one here, but they're not physically, they don't look to be physically broken. Let's see if I can get the camera in at a little different angle just to see them. The light is a little different. So they're not physically broken. So I don't think anybody's been in there. I think they're just worn out just from use. And then there's all this crap that's on the drum. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's holding the tape away from the head. Huh. There's certainly a lot of crud, isn't there? But there was no signal at all from one of the heads. So it's either the head has gone open or it's just worn to the point, maybe even open, because you would expect to see something. And like there was nothing, like there was no signal at all from one of the heads. I'm pretty sure that the flying erase is directly ahead of the other. Like it wouldn't be the erase head for that one, that far away on the track. It would be the leading head would be there. So that would be the flying erase, and that's the record play. And again, flying erase and record play. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. This is the one that had a lot of crap on it. Maybe this is why. Maybe this stuff is pulling the tape away from the head. I can feel it. I certainly feel that crap in there. Huh. They're certainly worn. Like when I run my finger over it very, very lightly, I don't really feel much in the way of the head. You should feel the head protruding. And there's just nothing there, or very, very little. I'll just try cleaning some more and see if we can get that crap off the head drum. This stuff here. But I'm still getting crap off the head. Like, this is so badly contaminated. I don't think I've ever seen a video head that's as badly contaminated. You definitely feel the head when I press on it, as I'm trying to clean it. No, there's nothing there. Like, there's absolutely nothing. When I put it in pause, go slow motion, the high-speed search, you would expect to see something. There's nothing. Okay, I'm calling it. This one's shot. This one needs a new upper drum. Simple as that. And finding an upper drum for one of these things would be like finding a needle in a haystack, because they haven't made them in 50 years, or pretty darn close to it. And these ones they haven't. They made the SP machines a little later than these, but this is quite an early one. This would be from like probably the early 80s, maybe late 70s, early 80s. I don't know exactly when the VO5850 series was out. The 5850. So the 5800 would have been the playback spooler, and the 5850 was the editor. And then say I've got a 9800, which is quite a bit newer than this one. This was the VP1000 and VO1000, 1800, so forth. They were the first generation. This is probably maybe the third generation, fourth generation. They had some top loaders first, right, and then they went to the front loaders. But this might be 1980. I guess there might be a date on it on the back. But anyway, chances of finding an upper drum for one of these would be slim to none. And even if I did find an upper drum, I don't have the eccentricity gauge to set it up. You need that special micrometer to measure the drum, and I don't have one. I had one when I worked at the shop, but unfortunately that belonged to the shop, and I wasn't able to snag that when I left. I would have loved to have snagged it. It was an expensive little part. That you screwed it down. There was a little point on here that you screwed it down to, and it had a little Teflon end, a little Teflon tip that you pushed up to rest up against the drum, and then you rotated it and watched the gauge move back and forth, and you adjusted it until it didn't move when you rotated the drum, and then tightened up the screws. So if you loosen the screws, you'll never get it back correct without that eccentricity. The eccentricity gauge. There was dihedral as well, but these didn't require that. That was the Betamax machines with the 3-piece drums. They required dihedral adjustment. But anyway, okay. I'll break the bad news that the head drum is no good on this one, and we'll move on. I've done what I can. I'm curious, is one of them open? One of the heads open? I'll just take this cover off so that I can unsolder the wires. I want to see if one of those heads has gone open. I mean, it could even be the rotary transformer for that matter, right? But if I undo one of the wires for the head, I can measure continuity for the head itself and see whether if the head has gone open. Because it could be an open coil. I mean, it doesn't fix anything. It's just more for curiosity as to what is wrong. Is it a head that's just worn out, or is it a head that the coil went open? So if I unsolder, just to take one wire off from each of them, and I can measure all four. Just because I'm curious, right, as to where the problem is. I'll put this in ohms mode. Or no, I'll put it in continuity mode because it'll be very low. The resistance will be very, very low on each of them. So if I just touch one wire, and that one's got continuity. What about this one here? Open. That head is open. That's where our fault is. See, my meter did not beep. It's hard to see because this light's in the way, but if I connect that wire there and head is open. This one, that one's open. The others are good. I figured it had to be something like that because it had to be an open, because if it was just worn, I would expect to see some signal whatsoever, and I was seeing nothing. You see, these all have continuity, except for this one over here has no continuity. So now we know conclusively what the fault is. It is a bad head drum. That's open. Yep, okay. Now we know where the fault is. It would be something if I could hook the flying erase heads up to the wouldn't that be something? I don't know if I should try that or not, you know? Just hook up the flying erase heads to the... Oh, I guess it wouldn't work because they're out of position. Well, maybe. The tracking might take care of that. I don't know. Should I do that? This machine's it's junk at this point, right? The head drum is junk, so... I don't know. Maybe I'll just, for the hell of it, just... We're flying by the seat of our pants. This is just kind of an experiment now because this head drum is toast. So what the hell? Like, I don't know the wire's going to be long enough to reach, but I can certainly extend them. I don't know the flying erase heads are necessarily going to perform properly, but they're heads. They're the same track width, so I mean, why wouldn't they pass a signal? So we'll just, like, I won't do anything. I'll just leave those there. But will these reach? Will these ones reach? Probably not. I'll have to extend them a little bit, but what the hell? Let me just get some wires and we'll just kind of extend these just because we can. So what I'm doing here is wrong on so many levels, but I mean, who would have ever thought of trying to make a flying erase head playback a video signal? And you know, the only reason I'm doing this is because I know that the head is shot. We were able to measure it and find that one of the head coils is open. So just for, in the name of science, I want to see if this is going to work. So I'm going to just put some tape down here so nothing shorts out. Okay, that works. That spins nicely. This won't work. There's no way in hell that this is going to work. Not a chance. And it doesn't. Thanks for watching. We're going to catch you in the next one.